Good evening and welcome back to Underrail. Last time we met and managed to offend Yngwar, but I prepared a few things and we should be good to go. So first up, I got some more Hypercerebrics because the other one basically got wasted. And we got some more eel sandwiches. I've already given him one. So thus far, this is a no-go. It offends him. He doesn't like the ferryman either. Lord Surmir is only... we're gonna go so far with that. And the Surmir Baron, he doesn't trust us enough yet. But we're gonna see about navigating all of the intricacies of the Surmir Baron culture. And go from there. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. And hopefully we'll have a productive session. So, point at his arm, or more specifically, its scaly skin. He moves his finger over his rough scales. Sormir hud. Then he touches his human skin. Beren hud. So, we're going to touch our skin. Beren hud. Jake. Beren hud. Intelligence. Bring your arm next to his and point out the difference. Then point to his arm and make a talking mouth with your hand. He stares at you. And we'll wait. He grabs his bone knife and begins drawing in the sand. This, in combination with his gesturing and an occasional sentence, forms a narrative you try your best to follow. Observe and listen. His tale begins with the difference between the two skins, one you are born with and the other you earn. Not everyone can earn it, no, as not everyone is strong enough. Not everyone has been destined to achieve transcendence, abyssal transcendence, it seems, for he looks down and points his hands to the ground, his palms being fully open. Skeren forskar flottsummer, forskar pom. Men who relay Flottsummir's messages organize some kind of ritualistic drinking of a potion of serpent essence. It drops men to the ground and makes them convulse like serpents in pain. It burns from below and outside, but later they feel that very serpentine essence imbuing them. Weaklings die. The strong will begin or continue their transformation. But then he speaks of further rituals. They all begin with the consumption of these potions. But each one is followed by new challenges, and then he abruptly stops. Point at his drawing of himself. Why Yngwar here? You can see in his eyes that he understands, but he still shakes his head. And we'll leave it be. Decide it best to change the subject until you can figure out a way to communicate your thoughts better. Imitate drinking a potion, then point to his scales. Rituals. Tell me about the rituals. He pauses, observing you intently. Leva? Give grace ik verta ot krun itu deg. Intelligence. You think he's asking you why he should be telling you all of this. You, Yngwar, great warrior. Ik beken, want to become greater too. And gestured as best as we can. Dig et terpen beat. Dig metren ferg kokor nicht. He makes a lengthy pause, his eyes darting between you and the skewers. Ritual sumir vaj. Observe and listen. He gestures, drinking, and shows the pain coming from below and outside. Then it subsides, and he feels much closer to the great serpents, like he's becoming one. The first ritual he describes as swimming deep, deep down, as far as possible. But the way the swimming is performed is different. His legs are tied together, his hands as well. So what he's doing is basically wriggling through the water. Sormir Limin. He seems frustrated, but you cannot figure out why. Clenches his hand into a fist and again describes those men who relay Sormir's messages. Spiriters. But this time, he's sulking. He drinks an imaginary potion again and begins. They're in a temple to whose waters a great serpent has been summoned. The powerful eyes of the High Spiriter can hold it in place until the other Spiriters can use air potions to pacify it. Then he entered its mouth and got swallowed, his arms and legs tied together. He was supposed to stay in its stomach and let its strong acid lustrate him and help him burn away his birth skin. But the serpent was not dazed enough and began thrashing about. Then it swam deep down with him still inside it. A dazed serpent cannot crush you in its stomach because its muscles get numbed, but this one squeezed him harder and harder. He undid his bonds and started crawling out. Then he saw a spear before him, a spear from one of the Transcended who was hit by the serpent's tail and dropped it. He grabbed it near the tip with both his hands as the serpent tried biting them down with its debilitated jaws and then drove the tip through its eye. He emerged from the water, bathed in the serpent's acid and blood. He is a strong warrior of Sormir, and he has defeated the great serpent like no serpent born before him has. But the Spiriters, they objected. He blasphemed again. He should not be swimming with his arms free. He should not be climbing out of the water by using his legs. He should not be killing prey with tools and weapons. They told him these things before. And he should not have used a spear, a weapon, to slay a great serpent during the ritual. After many tides, he will have to abandon his arms and legs, and with them daggers and knives and spears. Ik forskar fort Sormir, Yngwar forskar fort Sormir, mit ater Sormir beren forskar fort Sormir, nikt det klogar åt Yngwar. Yngwar was no weakling, but a mighty warrior, that he was only exiled and not slain. Now he lives here alone, and he ponders. Okay, why does Yngvar perform the rituals differently? Gesture it as best you can. He pauses, thinking, and after a moment he begins explaining. Ik vol. He wants to be the strongest warrior, weaker than no one. He wants to slay his enemies, the other-born, and everyone who gets in his way or desecrates Sormir, the same one who will bring him closer to himself through abyssal transcendence and grant him great strength. The Spiriters interpret his will and tell the warriors how they should obey it. For years, the Spiriters guided the Skirders, the Transcended Ones. Okay, so that's actually what it is, Transcended Ones. And Yngvar obeyed. After all, the Spiriters themselves had performed their own rituals and obeyed his will to become Spiriters. Only their gift was not strength, a body, but strength of mind and senses. But at some point, Yngvar began to doubt what the Spiriters were saying. He looks at his enlarged hand, then the other one. Merg Hanten Yikoston Pos Beat. The large one is strong and powerful, but for it to become stronger, it must lose other strengths. That makes it, in fact, weaker. Great serpents are powerful swimmers because of their big tails. Stronger legs are better for swimming, fused legs even better, but at the same time they become worse. Since unfused, they can be brought closer or farther apart at will and be used for many other purposes. Tools that help too much are for the weak and make people weak. But tools that allow a strong man to become stronger are good. Weapons too, they should not be warriors themselves, but help warriors be better warriors. That is good. Why abandon them? Kroko. To slay a great serpent from inside its jaws, bathed in its acid, is a feat no Sormir Baren has achieved, and he did it with his arms and a weapon. Then Yngvar got exiled for it, for being strong, for being a warrior. Is this really Fort Sormer's will? As time went on, he saw less and less sense in the things the Spiriters were saying, and saw even in the most powerful warriors weaknesses he did not want to have. You, Durg, pointed him. Said at some point Durg began doubting the Spiriters' words. Gestured as best you can. When? Shrug your shoulders. He shuts his eyes and shields them with his arms. Lisborgaman. Alright, Lisborgaman. Tell me about it. Nikki? Okay. Please, Yngvar, will you tell me? Okay. And give him some more food. Oh. Well. Looks like we will need to reload. So, let's try this again. You know what, we'll skip to when it's new, so I'll be back in just a second, y'all. And welcome back. So, I went ahead and saved it so we had a closer checkpoint, but this is after having gone through those original things. This Bergamin is, of course, a no-go, so let's try talking about the Surmabaron now that we've built up a little rapport with him. Ik Surmabaron. He looks and begins pointing at the elements of the village he had drawn. The tents, the people, the livestock. Then your attention falls to one larger stick figure, their leader, chieftain, Magnar. He is a mighty warrior born of the serpent, but is not becoming one. His strength and cunning are unmatched by any other Sormabarian warrior. And for that, he has earned the blade and shield of his, weapons that hold his essence. Okay, tell me more about the Surmabaron. He draws two more warriors. Nov de Garen, Eldrin ont Bankcraster. Alright, what's Eldrin? His mother gave birth to abominable children. Neither were strong enough to survive. After her fifth child, no man would lay with her, yet she still gave birth to a son. Eldrin det Novdegar, he who carries ancient fire. The Spiriters deemed him a special servant of Flortzimer, as he displayed not only great strength, but could invoke his inner ancient fire to smite his enemies. He challenged out of fires, walked across scalding fields, bathed himself in boiling springs. He eventually lost his sight, but not his perception. For Eldstem Gusapten det Novdegar beat met det Magnor por Oskota ar fil. Okay, what about Bancraster? He is the son of the finest Sormabaron bonesmith, Resar, son of Jiktar, father of 8 children, all sons. But only one stayed as his heir in craft, as the rest sought transcendence. But the one that stayed built with his father a suit of armor made of bone and leather for himself. The father died before the armor was completed. The son used some of his father's bones to do so. Bancraster, det Novdegar. His brothers perished as they were too weak for transcendence. He buried them all and now guards their graveyard. Por Bane Stam Gusaptin det Novdegar bit met det Magnor por Osoptka har fil. Spiriters. Spetters, was it? Det Spetren. He extends his normal hand, palm facing up. En Speter. He touches his thumb with the lowest digital bone, the phalange, of that hand's index finger, the one closest to the palm. Tva Speteren. He then touches the middle phalange. Tra Speteren. Top phalange. Monet Speteren. He counts 12 phalanges on his hand. The thumb is not counted. then moves to his other hand, stopping or accenting every 2 fingers or 6 phalanges. Monet Spitarin. Tell me more about the Spiriters. The Spiriters relay Fortsormer's messages to the Sommerbaron. The Spiriters themselves have performed their own rituals and obeyed his will to become Spiriters. Yeah, we've seen this already. Yngwar doubts their interpretations of his will when it comes to what he and other warriors are told, but it is clear as a spring that their rituals, their way, have brought them power. Lesser spiriters, the ones who have undergone their change the least, are the weakest of mind and senses. Higher spiriters wield much greater powers, and the high spiriters, the spiriter of him, Det Flortsommerspetater, has been gifted by him the most. Alright, Flortsomsvetter. Draws a tall, thin figure, above whose head spikes or teeth form a semicircle. One arm is holding a spear or a staff, while the other is holding something resembling a lantern in which he draws a single dot. Uljensorm det Flormorspeter. Yeah, he's gone now. Hee. Observe and listen. Yngvar points to his own serpentine eyes and draws next to the spiriter of him. The serpent's eyes is the highest of the spiriters, one that truly senses what he commands. When the water rises, he goes to the temple of the tides and doesn't leave until it drops again. Yet when the waters are restless, it means Florsormer is restless, and this marks the beginning of a long period of time during which the high spiriter is in the temple, sensing what he commands. The eyes of the serpent has spiriters to relay his messages for him, but important and urgent messages he will relay to the Sommerbaron through dreams. Once the water has calmed down and his will is sensed and obeyed, the spirit of him will emerge from the temple. Okay. Or about something else. We'll go ahead and make this another checkpoint. Alright. What about Flortsormer again? Or Scar Flortsormer? He looks down, but not to the ground. Okay, well, this might be somewhat new. Rather, it is though he is looking far into the depths beneath his feet. Then he begins drawing in the sand. You are able to make out a giant serpent lurking in the abyssal depths of the Black Sea. He is powerful and strong, and all the serpents are his minions and are blessed with a fraction of his strength. He sends them from the depths to feast on the weak and to test the Sommerbaron. Spiriters, who can sense his will the best, can ask for the serpents from Flortsmere for rituals in which the strongest of the Sommerbaron can become more like them and acquire a part of that essence. One day, when enough Sommerbaron have been blessed with his strength and power, when enough can move to and sense the world like the serpents can, then he will lead us out of these waters to conquer new ones and feast on the weaker. But that is the way of the serpent, according to the spiriters. Alright, so let's see what we can get from Flortsmere again. Okay, so we might be able to touch upon the ferry again. Ferryman. Until he recognizes the name. Yngvar meet ferryman before, just your 2 finger people shaking each other's hands. Avarga de Gislev ik before mida ferryman? Okay. Alright, well, we could kill him, but I won't. So I don't think we can ask about that at all. Miss Bergman? Et bront dit une int epon abu gimon det oyen. He closes his eyes tightly. Intelligence. Put your hand on your chest. Here? It burns here? Jake. He begins to describe it. Observe and listen. It is near the exit from the Black Sea, the light which burns the essence. Men die when they stare at or approach it. Everyone sleeps with their back turned toward it, or hunt, kill, and perform rituals with their faces turned away from the light which burns the essence. He was a young boy, perhaps in early teens, when his boat went missing. He had failed to secure it properly, and the current carried it south. Knowing that his father would rip off one of the teeth in his skin for such neglect at losing one's own boat, or that the spiriters might deem him unworthy of abyssal transcendence, he went with his brother, Asmagar, on his boat to search for it. They both knew the dangers, knew it was forbidden, but he had to find his boat, and they did find it near the sea's exit. But as soon as they approached it, the light appeared on the cliff to their left and blinded them. His brother did not survive. He collapsed and died on the spot. Yngwar lived. He managed to recover his boat and row back home. His brother he left in his own. He never told anyone what happened there. The two went hunting and his brother was devoured by serpents. That's all they needed to know. He thought he survived because he was stronger than his brother, but later he realized there was something else. His burning was different than what everyone spoke of in the legends, and in the blinding light he managed to see. He hesitates to continue. Havaga se Yngvar, what did you see? He stares at you with amazement. Der Vertanjagd? Ix. He saw shapes, human shapes, or so he thinks. He felt the burning sensation radiating from inside and above, scorching what was below and to the side. It hurt him greatly, and the pain he can remember clearly. But a similar thing he would feel again. Go on, Yngvar. The next event happened a few years later. The Spiriters had led a group of warriors to an island to the east, whose ground is born of fire. They were performing a ritual for the strongest warrior of his, Sjornsur. As tall as two warriors, and more than that as heavy, he could crush enemies easily by stomping or throwing boulders at them, or by squeezing their entrails out with his bare hands. But he preferred a hammer made from the severed head of a stone beast he had slain himself. It was a ritual dedicated to his further transformation, the abandonment of the unnecessary. But then, before the ritual could begin, the ferryman came with a staff of burning pearls. All of them, the warriors, the spiriters, all felt something horrible about his aura. He wanted to challenge Fortsimmer's mightiest warrior, but he did not use the staff. Sorcerer picked him up and threw him about. Everyone was laughing at the weak old fool, and his disturbing aura was gone. But then, as Sorcerer was celebrating his strength, the gift of his, the old man got up and threw something at him, hitting him in the back of the right knee. It was something small and glowing that burned the inner essence, just like the light from the cliff. Radiating from inside and above and burning what is below and to the side. Ferryman stood proud and strong, an otherborn who slew the mightiest Sormabaran warrior. Someone as strong as that deserves respect, even if he is otherborn. The ferryman picked up his staff and walked back to his ship, and since he was respected and feared among some, he was free to sail their waters. When Yngvar talked to other warriors, no one felt the aura like Yngvar did, and the object he threw looked like nothing more than a small rock. Only Yngvar saw its glow. After the second event, something in Yngvar was different. He was impressed by the same essence that terrified him beforehand. His ways departed from the way of the serpent more and more, culminating in events that he had already explained. About Sorcerer. He nods. Where was it he was hit again? He observes you for a moment. And back of the right knee. And what happened to his body? He draws water, then the ground, then a huge towering bone sticking out. Above it he draws a rune of some kind. Point to the rune, then gestures some scribbling. Can you write that down for me? He doesn't seem to understand, but draws the rune deeper. Point to a piece of leather lying on the ground next to a sack. Can I have that? Can, I don't know, Tekken that? He nods and takes the leather, but instead of giving it to you, he first burns the end of one of the skewers on the fire, then uses it to write the rune into the leather. Then he hands it to you. Sjornsur akosa fut realen ot pon beat. What does it mean? explains no further but tends to the fire instead. So we're going to use that as a chance to save. That is the primary reason we were here, but now we're going to wrap things up. So, covered Fort Sormer, we've covered the Sormer Baron, and we got the information we needed about Sjonser. So now Yngwar, Jake, you are different from your brethren, the Sormer Baron. Derg beats ik metera, ik enefe beat, Jack. Dirk Enifin beat the rituals, the shapes you saw in the light. Lisborgaman. He nods. Ik mitar. He draws the symbol of Fort Simmer in the sand with his trusty bone knife. There is no doubt that he is the serpent, that he is the father who gave them their strength, skill, and bloodthirst. He gave them the sea to be their homeland, and its many inhabitants to slay. But the way the Spiriters want Yngwar to follow is wrong. He understands that now. Dirk Eterin bit. You may or may not understand. That is not important to Yngwar. Beve Dirk Vertan Ikke Merg. Why, tell me all of that then. By trying to explain to another born the things that troubled him, he understood them better himself. He understood them well enough. Now he knows what he must do. There is another way, the way of the warrior, the way of man, where eyes do not have to be blinded to see, where limbs do not have to be shed away to be strong, because Yngwar can be much stronger as Fortsimmer's warrior than as Fortsimmer's serpent. Det krigs varvaj, vaj ot det lemon. An old weak sailor slew Fortsimmer's greatest warrior with a tiny glowing rock. Yngwar must go to its source, the glow itself, and begin his way there. You're going to the monolith? The word monolith seems to confuse him temporarily, but he still nods in affirmation. You aren't afraid that the Lisborgaman might kill you? He shakes his head. Ik en erfer bit. Det krisvarvaj ik most trek. How will you leave? His eyes trace the surrounding walls all the way to the ceiling, then he raises his hands and mimics climbing. And though it did take a bit of work, the fact of the matter is, he didn't draw his weapon on us when we did things correctly. So, then go. He looks at his things and begins counting them using his phalanges, doing so in groups of 6 as before. Once he reaches his other deformed hand, you notice something odd. His index finger on that hand has 4 phalanges, making that the only grouping wherein he has counted 7 times. It makes you wonder for a few moments, and then he sits by the fire and begins pulling things out of a leather sack. Wait and see what he does. He grabs a stone mortar, a bone pestle, a bag of white pearls, and a reed brush. He crushes the pearls into fine powder and pours some water from one water skin and some sticky honey-like substance from another, smaller one. He then pours everything into a thin bowl and heats it over the fire, mixing it until its consistency turns thick. The war paint is ready, and after waiting for it to cool off a bit, he applies it to his face, smearing his skin with his hands. With the scales he treats with the reed brush. Now, he's ready. Good luck, Yngwar. And with that, we are done with Yngwar, but he's focused on packing. I'm a little bit curious. Okay. I just want to check and make sure he doesn't have some oddities on him. If he doesn't, then obviously no big deal. Okay. I only wanted to be sure. That's it. So, we are done here. And we got the information we needed. A sketch of the rune Yngwar drew in the sand while telling you a story. It seemed important to make a copy of, which is circle with a line through it and opposite inward angles. So, now that we have that, we can actually go to another location that's tied to the Sommerbeeren. So, I've praised this game a lot during all of this, and I have to say, I do really like that you have the ability to basically feel out things with Yngvar. It's a little bit... It can be a little annoying if you don't have the food on hand, as evidenced by how the last session ended. But, I do like it conceptually. So now we're going to make our way across here and explore a bit more to the east. There are still more villagers, both at that central location and elsewhere, but we will deal with them as we get to them. We're just gonna peek real quick. Can't do anything here at the moment. Itchy bitchy baby crab. So I wouldn't kill the crabs, but I would like to be sure that there are no oddities. So it is what it is. What it is. Olivine, nice find, but unfortunately it's not a gem of quality, worth 1 oddity. Don't mind if I do. Are y'all fiddling with the crabs? Tiny bison skull. It's only about 5 centimeters long. Yeah, that's tiny. Worth 1 oddity point. We are at 38 out of 60. That was a big name, and I think I saw a psionic bar. You know what that means. Ooh. Wait. Oh, okay. Well, either way. Thought it was something else. Once again, some high quality animal goods. I won't worry about them because they're all the way out over here. But we'll probably have to deal with them eventually, if only so that I can check all the shells and grabs. Now, I would go north, and in fact, I want to go north, but we need to cover ourselves first. And to do that, we need to go east. Oh, okay. Plasma! Pokemon Black and White was the best. That's all. That's all there is to say. And then pull back. And activate Uncanny. So, that is a feat that you can get relatively later on. So basically, if we were to wait it out, which we're not going to, he would just go back down to 1 health. But I would prefer to, you know, get the job done. I will, however, bait out the rest of them. Ah. I see they're coming from afar. And pull back again. Recharge. Yay. Ow. And go ahead and recharge again. Is that the only one left over here? Could be. Let's give him a swift kick in the nads. It was. Disable that. Saw something. We'll go through all the bodies later. Go ahead and take care of that now. Two ballista units. Well, we can take care of them, but what we need to take care of is in here. Kriegsfar. There he is, Mr. Bankraster himself. But, what if I just drop a plasma grenade right here? So the highest value target at that point is this one, which means what do you have on you? Oh, you got some chunky health. Can I neutralize you? Okay, I cannot stun him. Oh, I'm using the wrong... Ooh. I was using the wrong weapon. Ooh. 800! I should have activated Uncanny, but whew. 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 Jeez. Okay, so plasma again. Just want to be sure to catch that psionic user, and we did. Even gave Mr. Bankrester a lovely bit of service. And other threat is gone. Come over here. Snort the good stuff. Uncanny dodge. Battery. Okay. Can you stop missing? The 76%. Activate evasive. How the hell did you... There. Should have done it to begin with. Ow. So if you remember, Yngwar did say that Bankrester guards over his brother's tomb, basically. Well, if he doesn't get neutralized here, let's just say he becomes a thorn in our side should anything happen with where we are going. Do you actually leave? You don't. I'm shocked. And there we go. Take both of those. I like how I'm not even supposed to be coming at it from this side, but I guess it's close enough or something. Some more high quality greater siphoner leather. At this point, I'll just grab stuff if I need it. 'Cause otherwise, yeah, we're basically at capacity. Now you, knucklebone dice, set of dice made from what seems to be cut and sharpened human hand bones, worth 3 oddity points. And there's his weapon, the barbiton. A giant mace made out of many bones and teeth, tied and glued together. It's unreasonably heavy. Yeah, it's 40. I mean, I guess if you're going for that, it's kind of okay. But also, yeah, we did want that oddity. Okay. This is actually a screen transition. We'll worry about that in a bit. Oh. Okay. Didn't realize you were close enough. That should be... Yeah, that should be all the threats at this screen. But yeah, if you were to completely tank your perception like we did, luminous marsh honey, the food that increases perception, the juice, and that headpiece, that is a plus 3, 4, 6, 7. You could actually hit any check up to 10. Thanks to all the buffs, if you used everything correctly. But, that's not really relevant to us at this point in time, since we've basically done everything that we would need perception for, and, you know, no guns. But worth noting. Go ahead and top off. Since we're here, here's some bison and more sommerbeeren. This would honestly be more APE efficient. Who? What? Oh, okay. He's not in stealth? Fool me. Really? You want to run that one by me again, Chief? Yeah, not that I can check it like this. You know what I ought to do? Wait, did that complete... He came... Okay. Alright. Oh, come on. Oh, not yet? Okay. Easy. Another piece of olivine. First, I'm checking around for more lootable things and also enemies. But we are going to start doing some unkind things to animals. Because I want oddities. Nice. Not as nice. So what we should clearly do is make all of them hostile. And then pull back. Ooh. Wait, what? Where did you come from? Huh. So, this is really efficient. Or it would be if it would land where it's supposed to. Piece of shit. Actually, you know what? Hmm. So do that. Pull away. Let them do their thing. Now we're going to stasis. Give them all a good minute or two. You know, this would be dangerous. Oh, was there another bull? Okay. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, this would be dangerous if I didn't have a plan. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, we good? We good. One turn. Limited temporal increment. Can't miss if it's at my feet. Out of battery. Blitz. And there we go. Hollow Bison Horn. Worth 1 oddity point. I think that's the only oddity they have. Can check the others in a minute. I want to go investigate our new little friend first. You're not gonna turn hostile? That's interesting. Okay. Still want to kill you though. Ooh, ooh. Wait. He was holding the whole calf in him? What? Okay. Huh? Pearl. This beautiful natural pearl is quite a find. Perhaps one of the wealthier merchants would be interested because it's a luxury good. I'm gonna check these real quick. But other than that, I do believe this is what we will call for the session. We have made some pretty solid progress, seeing as how we got the information from Yngwar. And it's a little unfortunate that, yeah, that kind of style is kind of necessary to get things done. But it is what it is, unfortunately. Okay. So we got all those, and we'll probably head over here and wrap up with the big thing I wanted to get done over here next session. So, thank you for coming by and watching. Hope you enjoyed. As always, take care of yourselves and have a wonderful day. I will see you next time.